SBR4 Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is Into the Weekend with BetDSI, the call we do every Thursday with Brent and lines manager at DSI Sportsbook, where we take a look ahead to the upcoming weekend's major sports betting events. And Brent gives us a little glimpse of the action that he's taken so far during the week. Right now, we're looking ahead to NFL Week 5 and college football Week 6. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Thanks for having me on, Peter.
All right, now to all of our viewers, just to to give you an idea of how much Brent cares about giving us a good show, he sent me an email saying that he doesn't have a whole lot to say about NFL right now as of Thursday afternoon. So we're just going to cover college, and we'll get to NFL on Friday. Brent, is that a little bit surprising that you don't have any unique, interesting action from NFL so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of the sharps. Yeah, you figure they would be, they'd be doing what they always do. But really, there was only one side that stuck out and a couple of totals, but nothing like we normally have to talk about. So I figured maybe they're sitting back for a number to move or something like that, or just kind of picking their time to strike. So hopefully by the time we're on tomorrow, we'll have some better information for you, Peter.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Brent. And that just goes to show Brent, he cares about this show, and that is why this show is so great. All right. So let's get into college football Week 6, and there's a few games that I want to ask you about before we get into the general sharp and public action you can tell us about. The first one, right, Georgia State and Alabama. What would open at like 56 or something? I actually bet that. I was like, that's just got to be too high. I did notice that it's 54 now, but I'm just wondering, have you gotten a lot of action on that game, or are people just ignoring it?
Yeah, I'm surprised you even want to talk about this game, Peter. Yeah, Alabama's sitting right now as a home favorite at 54 points. The total is 58.5, and of course, if you could party the side and totals together, you would, but of course you can't. The side's pretty much dead, basically. I mean, the spread's just really, really high. The count favors the dog, Georgia State, as squares such as yourself would be taking the points, thinking that it's just too high. But the money is pretty much even, Peter. Interesting enough, I did have sharp money coming in on this total. We took money at under 60.5, and that was sharp money that took that there. We're sitting at 58.5 right now.
All right, so I guess that is a little bit telling. So, the sharp saw that line, and they didn't come in on Georgia State. So maybe there's not any value. I would expect them to maybe be a little bit attracted to that, but they haven't been.
Yeah, no, not so far. Again, it's just an ugly number.
I mean, when you just in general, when you see a number that huge, don't you usually expect to get at least a little bit of sharp action on the underdog?
You would expect to, but again, like I said, that's the sharps. If they have an edge, they're going to take an edge. They're not just going to play a dog because they're getting 54 points. They're going to play a dog who they think is going to win. And I guess this is telling me that they're obviously not going to lay the points, because that's just kind of insane to comprehend. But they're not, they don't feel strong enough about it to take the points either.
All right. Well, I guess that's very telling. And then I want to ask you about LSU at Mississippi State. LSU is about a 9-point road favorite, and they are off a loss. So, whenever you see like an elite team like LSU coming off a loss, sometimes I think, like, is that something that the public's going to be attracted to betting on or against the Sharps? What kind of notable action have you gotten on that game, if any?
Just a ton of LSU money, really, and it hasn't been sharp action. It was just some guys with deep pockets who fired on LSU minus 8.5 and minus 9. We're sitting at 9.5 right now. Our money's probably about 6 times in favor of LSU. The count's about 5 times in favor of LSU as well. So I did take sharp money on the over 54 in that game. We're sitting only at 54.5 right now, seeing where we have to go on that. But in terms of the side, no, it's just been public money that drove, and again, public money with deep pockets that drove the 8.5 to 9, and now sitting at 9.5 where we are, Peter.
Okay, so you are getting a lot of action on LSU in terms of public money, but no sharp action on this game at all so far.
On the side, no. On the total, on the over, yes. All
right, then the third game I want to ask you about, Arizona State and Notre Dame. Now, this is not a neutral field. Notre Dame is about a 6-point underdog right now. And, this is kind of like, of the fall of Notre Dame this year. They're now out of the top 25. And Notre Dame is one of these teams that I think just tends to attract a lot of action week after week, whether it's on or against. Usually it's on, but maybe now that they're crashing, people are betting against them. And another reason I want to ask you about this game is I've had 2 guys who are notably sharp who, sent me tips saying that they like Arizona State here. So I'm wondering, have you gotten sharp action on Arizona State?
No, the only sharp money I got, actually, Peter, was on Notre Dame plus the 6. We're sitting at 5.5 right now. Arizona State 5.5, and a total of 62. My money is dead even on the game. The count is dead even on the game. But the only notable sharp action I took was plus 6. Now, it's not one of those strong public sharp splits that we usually look for in terms of this program and the stuff we give out. But the public is favoring Arizona State more probably more of a case of just fading Notre Dame.
Right.
And I guess the sharps who took the +6 just thought there was value there. Again, I'm sitting at 5.5 now. They took the +6.
All right, well, those are the only specific games that I wanted to ask you about. Now let's get into the meat of the call. What can you tell us about sharp and or public action that you've taken on any sides and or totals from the rest of the card?
I got mostly totals for you today, Peter. We've got game 329 is Ball State at Virginia. I've got sharps on the over 47, over 47.5, and we're sitting at 48 right now. And we actually haven't got a sniff on the under at all. So Virginia Ball State game going over 47.5, we'll call it. That was a sharp play for sure. Also the over 45 in North Carolina Virginia Tech. We're sitting at 45.5 right now. Haven't attracted any under money back yet, so we'll probably go a little bit higher on that. But over 45 was a definite sharp play. And Massachusetts and Bowling Green, the under there, we had under 52, under 51.5, and we're sitting at 51 right now. Again, it's just been all under money in that game there. It's kind of a strange game to track a whole lot of attention, but Bowling Green is a big favorite there, -26, and UMass probably can't stop anyone, so that'll be interesting. I don't know. I could see Bowling Green roll all over them, but the sharps are on the under for sure. A side for you is Ohio at Akron. They laid Ohio -3.5, -4, -4.5. We're sitting Ohio -5 right now. Trying, going fishing for some Akron money. Haven't seen that yet. So Ohio was a definite sharp play. And Ohio State and Northwestern, both the side Northwestern was kind of a sharp public split there. I've got a lot of bets on Ohio State, but the money's pretty much dead even. The sharps were taking Northwestern plus the 7. Public is drowning out those bets, probably about 4-1 the count of bets on Ohio State. So public on Ohio State minus the 6.5. I have sharps on Northwestern plus the 7, and I've got sharp money up the over 58.5, over 59, over 59.5. We're sitting at 60 right now. So Northwestern plus the points and the over with definite sharp action there, Peter.
That's actually interesting that you bring up the Ohio State game. That is one that I almost was going to ask you about because someone at SBR, as soon as the line came out, started a thread saying, why is Ohio State only giving 5 or 5.5 or 6 points to Northwestern? So as soon as I saw that, I was like, maybe Northwestern's going to be a sharp side and there's going to be a sharp public split on that. And apparently there is. All right, that's interesting and kind of good to hear. Maybe I'll go on Northwestern there. All right, is there anything else that you want to discuss with us, Brent?
Well, I just want to hope that Baylor and the over doesn't cash. Well, I got West Virginia at Baylor, and we just had a ton of money on Baylor. They were betting that line opened like 23, 24 points. Baylor's all the way up to 28 right now, and they were betting the over 68. And the scariest part of that game is it was sharp action that was driving the 23 and 24 on Baylor, and a sharp action that was over the 68. So Baylor and the over will be really bad for us, Peter.
Wow, and then the public, you're saying, came in following all the sharp moves.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the public sees a number like that, and they're like, wow, 28 and 70. Yeah, I'll lay that. I'll go over. And unfortunately, the sharps did the same thing.
All right, well, I guess that just about wraps it up. And by the way, Brent, don't think I caught that squares like you comment in the first. I caught that one just because I didn't mention it. I did catch it though, and I don't.
Well, we'll see if Georgia State cashes, and we'll see who the sharp is.
We will see. But I did catch it, and I didn't appreciate it, Brent. All right.
All right.
But what I do appreciate is all this awesome info that you give us week in and week out, and we will talk to you tomorrow about what you have to tell us about NFL Week 5. Thanks so much, Brent.